Welcome to episode 29 of the MMG podcast. I am Chris, and I am joined once again by my good friend, Gocubs and I.
And in the end, there was only dubstep.
Like, whoever wins, they take a knee, and just...
I mean, I guess you could relate that to football.
or to the end of life.
Right.
End of
I
life.
was thinking more an apocalypse scenario.
Oh, okay. The nukes come and it's just explosion.
Who said anything about nukes, Chris? I think you're overanalyzing what I just said.
Well, if the world's gonna end, it's probably gonna be by nukes as of right now.
That's really dark.
Sorry. Anyways, welcome to the Super Bowl edition of our podcast. It has been 21 long weeks of football, and we have finally arrived at the biggie of
the big cheese, as no one calls it.
The big cheese. Especially, it would be really cheesy if the Packers were playing, but that's of course not the case this year.
No,
we have
hopefully never again. But
just oh, Bears fans. What
are you trying to say?
You guys hate the Packers. That's not like some surprise or anything. Anyways, the Patriots and the Eagles are gonna do battle. It's the unstoppable versus the underdogs. And it's gonna be interesting. I'm looking forward to the game. Whatever happens this week, I'll accept, and I've enjoyed this season a lot. I think there's a lot of reasons to enjoy this season and enjoy what has happened to this point. We'll talk. We'll kind of do a whole season recap next week in our finale, our season finale episode. But lots to look forward to this week. Let's start with a game that's a little bit more important than the Super Bowl, and that's the Pro Bowl.
Are you sure? You want to use those words? That description. Is that what you want? Is that what you want your reputation to be?
It's concluded in absolutely terrific fashion. In just blood pumping, everything's on the fucking line fashion, as Derek Carr throws a touchdown pass to Delaney Walker, and the AFC reigns supreme above the land of football. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right then.
If anything, if what has happened here will reflect what happened last year, where we have the AFC win the Pro Bowl and then the Patriots won, the same thing might happen again this year. AFC wins and the Patriots would be destined to win the Super Bowl, but maybe not. Maybe it's only the first year back from the NFC AFC format, so we do not know what kind of superstition will begin, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, there wasn't really anything exciting about the game. I know they had a camera shot for a while of Drew Brees' kids fighting. That was kind of
Really?
cute, yeah.
I didn't watch the Pro Bowl, by the way.
Yeah, no, well, good for you. Because you're probably better for it. Yeah, I mean, it was what you would expect. It was, at one point, the most exciting play of the game was Harrison Smith, who was snubbed from the Pro Bowl and then got in as an alternate, intercepted a ball by Ben Roethlisberger and returned it for a touchdown, and he caught it in his own territory, so they're running all the way back. It's incredible, only that the AFC was absolutely half-assing trying to run after him, even though the NFC was also half-assing blocking them. Really was not exciting, and they're like, oh, well, in the fourth quarter, they get a $60,000 bonus if they win, so things really pick up. And I'm like, no, they don't. stop lying. They may try to win, but don't even think that they're putting in the amount of effort that in any other football game, which I think rightfully so. But like, stop trying to paint it as if you really are trying, you're really caring about it. Like, all these players are like, oh, well, we really tried to win that game because we cared about it. Stop it. Stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to America. You're lying to the commissioner. The commissioner knows very well how bullshit the Pro Bowl is. Give me a break. All right. Well, we got bigger fish to fry on this podcast outside the Pro Bowl. Starting with trade news. We had I never expected it during a Super Bowl week to be talking about trades, because the trade deadline or the trade start doesn't begin until mid-March, when the new league year starts. But what I didn't realize was that teams can technically agree to a trade before they can actually execute it in March. And I didn't realize that, and I guess I thought that there was like some sort of rules that kind of prevented teams from talking to each other, but I think that's more to do with free agency. Regardless, we got probably what's going to end up being the biggest trade of the whole offseason on Tuesday night. Can you want to go ahead and make the announcement of what that was, Gocubs?
Alex Smith was traded to the Washington team.
The Washington team. Yeah, the Alex Smith is now a Redskin, which is wow. I mean, it was look, we kind of figured that Alex Smith, he was trade bait, that he was going to end up being traded at some point this offseason. I didn't think it was going to be to Washington. I thought maybe Jacksonville, maybe, I don't know, the Broncos, or, well, not the Broncos, they wouldn't trade him in division, but regardless, they would go to somewhere else that might be a little bit more quarterback needy. Instead, he goes to Washington, and in return, they get a 3rd-round pick and a quarterback by the name of Kendall Fuller. Now, people probably are like, who the fuck is that? I was the same way, but according to multiple websites, he was like the #1 slot corner in the league last year.
Oh.
He's apparently really fucking good, and the Redskins just gave him away for Alex Smith. What was your initial thoughts about this trade, and what do you think? What are your overall thoughts on it?
It was surprising for sure, but also very telling that that Washington doesn't really want anything to do with Cousins.
Mm.
And it's debatable which one of them is the better quarterback. But I don't know. Look, my opinion on Alex Smith, and I'm stealing this from, I believe his name is Matthew Berry. Alex Smith is the quarterback who has set the record for longest play time without anyone knowing if he's good or not.
It's kind of true.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Flacco would make a run, but he was drafted after that. And Andy Dalton was drafted after that, too. So, like, those three are kind of, like, in the middle there.
And Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, so, weird trade.
Yeah.
Cousins is probably gonna end up in,
Brandon.
somewhere. I'm gonna say Arizona. Cousins gonna end up in.
Yeah, that would. I have no idea. It's so early for me to say where Kirk. I was not even expecting to talk about this, so I'm caught off guard too by the whole thing. I'm not even sure where Kirk Cousins. I felt that Kirk Cousins was going to remain with Washington. I did not think that he was.
Me too.
I did not think that he was going to go because like. Look, people have said, well, all right, Cousins had a kind of down year. He wasn't as good, but he has really grown a lot, and he's been better than a majority of quarterbacks out there.
And his team was really injured this season.
Really injured and has never really been well developed
Yeah,
at all. Like even being healthy, um, they had like nice pieces on defense, but they didn't really have a lot of great pieces on offense. You know, like they lost two great wide receivers in free agency last offseason, and they picked up Terrell Pryor, who did absolutely nothing for the team this year.
yeah.
You know, I I just think that I think Washington has just handled this whole thing poorly. I mean, you could say you could have the debate all you want. You know, oh well, is Kirk Cousins a better quarterback? Alex Smith a better quarterback? Regardless of how you feel, they just spent so much money on Kirk Cousins, uh, tagging him and playing like baiting him into staying in Washington, thinking that maybe he's gonna be able to commit to them. They wasted so many people's time now, and all they're gonna get out of they're not gonna get anything for Kirk Cousins. Maybe a compensatory pick, but even
Mm.
then, you're gonna be spending in free agency, and that might just end up canceling out depending on who you sign. I'm I just think Washington has handled. I just don't think they did a good job with this trade. And I
Mm.
personally believe that Kirk Cousins, who I think has been consistently good over the course of the last 3 years, while Alex Smith has been average, then great, then average, then great. I just do not trust Alex Smith as much as I do trust Kirk Cousins. But, you know.
I mean, if it means the worst franchise in the NFL will like continue to just be shitty, I'm all for it.
Well, I do wonder at this Gocubs. Who do you hate more, the Browns or the Redskins?
Okay,
Because
from a from a football, the Browns. From a
from a football perspective.
stop being fucking racist standpoint.
Well, Washington's been a mess for years. All right, you know what, Washington, I got this for you. All right, you got Alex Smith as your quarterback, but you got to build some pieces around him now. You lost your third round pick. Here's how you're going to really rebrand yourself as a competent franchise. Rename yourself the Washington Pigskins.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
because in my eyes, you're it's really annoying, to have to deal with to deal with the people who are going to be, saying, oh, the name should remain as is, and you have the other side that's saying, yeah, well, it's fucking racist. Why are you guys keeping that name? So obviously racist. Um, and you have this constant debate. Why don't you just? I think by naming your team the Pigskins, one, you're famous for the Hogs offensive line. That was a very famous offensive line back when you guys won those Super Bowls. Why not embrace that? You could name yourself the Pigskins, which is another name for a football, and you could get like a really intense pig logo. You could keep your
Like a fucking
colors.
wild boar.
Right, you could keep your colors because there are pigs that are as that burgundy as the
Yeah,
Redskins.
just look at Puma.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
So you
that sounds
guys,
like a joke, but
I mean, I know I realize that you were joking, but it fits. It absolutely
yeah,
adds to the argument. I'm just saying, I understand that Washington Redskins fans, they really want to keep the name, and but this could be the start of something beautiful with Washington, because now you got Alex Smith. He signed a 4-year extension. You know,
just so right to be here with you. Now looking in your eyes. I know more lyrics to that song than I thought I did.
yeah, High School Musical just all of a sudden popping up on the Super Bowl podcast. I like it. Now, you got Alex Smith, 4-year deal. You guys can try to use as much in free agency as possible. Try to build some, get some weapons in there for him. Get a nice running back, maybe in the draft or whatever. You guys kind of have a nice defense. You guys gotta just remain healthy. Rename yourselves the Pigskins, and you'll be one of the most loved franchises in the league. It's easy. I'm shocked that people have not thought of pigskins as a replacement name. That's an easy fix. It's easy, Redskins.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Chiefs, on the other hand, I completely forgot about that other side of the trade. They get a great slot corner, first of all, which is a huge need for that team.
Yeah.
So they really like, and they got a third round pick as well, and they also have a successor to Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes, who had, I would say, a pretty good game against the Broncos. I think there was times where there was worry with him, that he was kind of overmatched, but it was his first game. It happens. He still led the Chiefs to a victory.
Yeah.
And I think it will be interesting to see what Andy Reid does with Mahomes in his first full season as a starter. Maybe we'll get to see him become Deshaun Watson level of fun to watch.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see. But that, I think, all good news for the Chiefs. And if you're optimistic about Alex Smith being your quarterback in Washington, you're that's it.
Yeah.
And then that's good for you too. And of course, none of this could matter because maybe the Redskins realize how valuable Kendall Fuller is and just back out of the whole trade, and then we're back to square one. Who knows? It could still happen. They have till March 14th or whatever it is. So we got some time, but it's pretty solid. All right, next we got the commissioner's press conference during the Super Bowl week. First of all, watching the festivities in Minnesota is always fun. During Super Bowl week, as in general, it's fun to watch all the coverage because just news organizations exhaust themselves trying to run the same storylines. So it's both hilarious, but it's also a little intriguing because they definitely get a bit of the atmosphere and all that. But one of the big staples of Super Bowl week is the commissioner's press conference. He kind of talks about where the league is at. A little surprising, no one talked to him about the ratings. I felt like that was one of the biggest storylines of this season. No questions on that. They did officially confirm the Mexico game that will be played between the Rams and the Chiefs. I believe we've already covered that. 2 playoff teams in Mexico. That's going to be a lot of fun. They had that last year, but the Raiders sucked, so that didn't make it any better. You got to see the Patriots, though, and they are fun to watch. Then you got the catch roll. And that was, I think, the biggest takeaway of this press conference because it's amazing how the most fundamental part of football that we have just lost the meaning of over the course of the last
Chris,
few
there are
seasons.
two things about football. One of them is still is like I think pretty well regulated, but you are right that the second one is really up for debate. The first one being throwing,
Right.
and then the second one being catching, and that's what you're talking about. And I just wanted to interrupt you so I could say that.
Thanks, Gocubs. I appreciate
And
it.
barely add to the conversation.
No, but you're absolutely right. Throwing and catching is part of the receiving process, and apparently, when a person receives the ball, if they don't perform a football move, they don't necessarily catch the
They
ball.
don't legally marry it on the spot.
If they don't put a ring on it, then they're not gonna get some rings in the Super Bowl because they're going home because they lost on a fucking horrible rule. My opinion of it is the most confusing aspect to me, of the whole thing is when you have two clear hands on the football grabbing it. To me, that's possession. Or it looks like the ball is firmly in your hands, that's possession. I think if 2 feet hit the ground in bounds, that's possession. I personally like college rules when it's 1 foot in bounds, and that's possession, but that's okay. If you want to do 2, you want to do 2. That's okay.
That's one difference between college and NFL that I think is fair.
Yeah.
I think that's okay. This sport is the same, but it's kind of different rules.
Yeah,
if you're a professional, you should be able to get both damn feet in bounds.
Right, fair, whatever. That's totally okay. So you gotta get 2 feet down. The one thing though that really pissed me off, and it includes the football move, but it's also the process of going to the ground. Do you
Yes.
keep possession of the ball as you go to the ground? And in my opinion, they should just take the giant bottle of whiteout and just erase that, just hover over that, and just write void over that point, because it is to me the dumbest rule, because if you're going to the ground but you have the ball in your possession and you have had 2 feet on the ground, if you let go of the ball after you gain possession, to me that's a fumble, and that should be ruled as a fumble,
Yeah.
not a incomplete pass. To me, when Jesse James, it looked like he performed a football move. I mean, if we're gonna really talk subjective here, he turned to the goal line, reached out, and then fumbled the football on the ground, and then he retained it, and that would have been a touchdown to have the Steelers win. Instead, it was an incomplete pass because he didn't keep possession as he went to the ground. Get rid of that rule. Get rid of the goddamn football move, because what is a football move? Turning? Who cares? Who cares if they do that? They catch the ball. They get 2 feet on the ground. That's a catch. That I do not understand why it's so difficult. And good for the commissioner, because I mean he takes a lot of flack, and deservedly so at times, but he's very he seems so devastated by how the catch rule has been in the past few years, that he's like, we're completely redoing this.
Yeah.
We're erasing this catch rule, and we're going to be redoing it, and it's going to be the number one
You're
thing
right,
this
a new one.
off season. Like we've
The
had
refs will get to decide what a catch is in the moment.
right
And it will
exactly.
vary from ref to ref, and they will have to arm wrestle to decide which interpretation is correct.
Well, to me, like most of replay, like people complain about replay review and think they should just be abolished from football games. I disagree with that.
No,
Um,
fuck that.
I'm, but I'm of the mindset that if you change the catch rule at least to make it as simple as grip of the ball, 2 feet on the ground, you will have so many less replay reviews that will not be as part of the game as it is now. Um, I just hope that that people fucking just listen to one another and they listen to the league. I just think those are the two clearest things, and we don't need to write a fucking catch bible in order to understand what the fuck a catch is. Like it is ridiculous that we have not been able to nail this down. Des Bryant ruined it. He absolutely ruined it with his catch. And Calvin Johnson, of course. Calvin Johnson famously with, I forget how many years ago, I think it was back in like 2012, when he had the catch and then let go of it. Everyone thought it was a touchdown, turned out not to be, and that's just made everything spiral out of control. So I don't know. I'm hoping that things change. That's good. That the dominant storyline of the offseason, 2015 offseason was Tom Brady and Deflategate. 2016 offseason was kind of like Zeke and Tom
Yep.
Brady. No, a little bit. No, it was also Tom Brady. I think 2017 was Zeke. This year it's gonna be the catch rule. That's what's gonna dominate the 2018 offseason. So will be interesting to see. Few smaller note bit things. Dean Pees, Pees. What a
Yes.
last name. He retired as the Ravens defensive coordinator, except he didn't.
Nope.
He's going to be, well, he left the team and now is joining the Titans as the defensive coordinator for Tennessee since Dick LeBeau left. And Matt LaFleur, of the
Why are you doing that?
of the Rams. He was the Rams quarterback coach, and now he gets to move on to the Titans. He's been part of a lot of different teams, and now he is the offensive coordinator. So you got two unique assistant coaches heading to Tennessee. Thought this was worthy enough of news because I think all eyes are on if Marcus Mariota can fucking turn it around next year, and Matt LaFleur will hopefully be able to develop him and make him better. DP's one of the most respected defensive coaches, so good start, I think, to the Mike Vrabel era in Tennessee. Also in Tennessee news, we got some fashion news going down here. And this is nothing new necessarily, but the Titans have been looking to change their uniforms for in the near future. It sounds like it's going to be happening this offseason as the Titans will be changing their uniforms and their logo for 2018. So the Titans will have a completely different look. Makes my tiny helmet that I have of the Titans absolutely irrelevant, much like the Rams and Lions. But the Rams are still gold, and the Lions still have the black lines and everything. So it's like, oh shit. But no, it's okay though. I'm totally I love a good change of the uniforms, change of pace. I think the best uniform change in recent years has been the Lions. I think the Lions this past season, I think did a really good job with changing their uniforms.
Yeah.
I forget if anyone else outside of the Browns changed their uniform significantly. I don't think so.
Nah.
Browns suck. So they had a really...
Their uniforms look so shitty.
Yeah.
Literal
shit. And
some orange.
They had...
I know they're called the Browns, like that's their name, but...
Yeah, at the time I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. But then the more I looked at them, I was just like, no. And I look back at like the older Browns uniforms, like those were like classic because like the Browns used to be good, and they had like really classic uniforms, and they completely got rid of those with these new uniforms. So
yeah,
I'm a little like, damn. Also in the uniform news, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not changing their uniforms, but will be changing their helmets. No more two shades anymore on the helmet. You're one of the only people disappointed about that.
It looks cool. I like the gold black transition thing, that fade thing going on.
I don't mind it. I think that there's a lot of people that are like, come on, just can't stick to one color, like or whatever. I don't know. I'm fascinated.
The entire fucking thing is a conglomerate of gold, teal, and black. I love it.
There you go. There you go. I would be very fascinated to see what they do with it, though. I don't know if it's going to be all black, because that used to be what the Jaguars helmet was, all black with the Jaguars logo on it. That's all. The uniform itself is not changing. The helmets themselves are. That was reported at the Pro Bowl. So hey, I like me some uniform changes again, like I said, and if the Jaguars are going to deliver us a nice nifty helmet for their new era, if you could call it that, they are going to
the Bortles era.
If they're going to be competing every single season, then good for them. Also, I forgot to put this in the news. I guess we could just quickly touch on it. Blake Bortles will remain the starting quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars heading into the 2018 season.
That's fair.
That's fair. He had some wrist surgery this past week, and he is going to be recovering from that, but he's expected to be back by week 1.
Look,
yes, go ahead.
Look, I'm not going to say anything until the draft happens. But 49ers Jaguars Super Bowl 53.
You know what? We were gonna wait till next week for that, but I'm totally fine with you hinting at that now. Look, hey, I think that he improved a little bit over the last season. I think that people have a right to be skeptical about the decision. I think that they should try to make a run at Kirk Cousins. It doesn't sound like they're going to if they're going to be sticking to him. Going forward, sticking to Bortles anyway. I don't really know how to particularly feel about it. Hey, as long as the meme keeps going, it's gonna be funny. And I'm gonna enjoy it. But I hope that the Jaguars are still gonna be able to compete going
Oh
into
yeah,
next
me too.
season. And I think I
Well,
trust the coaching staff
yeah.
and the defense enough that they're going to be able to do it.
Like give Bortles some really good receivers and not enough opportunities to throw an interception, and he'll be good.
Big,
Like this.
yeah, big, big issue for the Jaguars this season is whether or not to franchise tag Allen Robinson, who went down week 1 with the ACL.
Yes.
So I would say do it because he had pretty good years, but you know, I'm not in there. I don't know if they feel like his injury is going to be career threatening or anything like that. So we'll see. All right. So that's the news. That's the breakdown of all the news that's happened this week. Not a lot because everyone's really focused on the one big game. But of course, before that one big game, we have the NFL Honors Ceremony hosted by Rob Riggle this year.
Okay.
It's going to be on NBC. I actually hate the NFL Honors in a way. Not necessarily for the award show or anything like that, but they start the show like an hour or like half hour ahead of time, and they start announcing the winners along the bottom of like the NFL Network and via alerts on my phone and all
Oh,
that before the show starts. And I'm like,
that
fucking
doesn't
assholes,
make
man.
any goddamn
It
sense.
doesn't. I'm like, well, why do you do this? Why do you start this ahead of time? There's no reason for it. None of the players of the Super Bowl are there. None of the coaches are there for this. Like, no one involved in those organizations, in the two organizations playing on Sunday, are going to be at the NFL Honors. So, like, there's no reason they have to start ahead of time so everyone gets to sleep on time. Like, no. The game's at 6 o'clock anyway. Like, it's
Yeah.
fucking. What are you doing? I don't get it. Whatever. I do enjoy when they give out the awards though, and we decided to do a little prediction of who we think is going to be winning some of the awards. We're not doing all of them. A lot of them are just kind of honorary awards. We won't predict Walter Payton, although I really think J.J. Watt's going to get that one. But we'll do some of the on-field predictions, and we'll start at the very top. MVP, the biggest award for all players, and I think a guy who has been snubbed a lot in recent years just because he's always been consistently good will finally get to add an MVP to his chamber, or whatever you want to call it. the trophy case, whatever it is. Anyways,
No, he's definitely has a chamber.
yeah, oh yeah, deep dark chamber, with his titanium body charges up at night. Anyways, what do you think is gonna happen, Go Cubs?
Well,
For this MVP.
the thing is, two of his biggest competitors went down with an injury at the end of the last season, which I
Right.
think kind of solidified it for him. It's going to be Brady.
Yeah,
It's hard to like. If you want to give to someone else, there are a couple options, but I honestly don't think that anyone has during the regular season had the effect that Brady has had.
I will stand by the fact that this Patriots team this roster is not as good as past Patriots teams.
Yeah, not even as good as last year.
I don't think so. And
No.
I think the fact that they went 13-3 still, won the games that still, is really a testament to Belichick, of course, but also to Brady, because he just makes that offense better every single time he's out there. I think that, and he makes the team better as a whole because he's a great leader. I would be very shocked to see that he does not get it. People have said, oh, maybe Todd Gurley. Well, Todd Gurley had a rough start to the year and then really picked it up near the end and was really part of the reason for the Rams' resurgence.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an argument. You have Antonio Brown, who had a really strong season, but injured near the end.
Ironically, in the Patriots game.
Right, and I don't think that we've never really seen, I don't think ever, a wide receiver win MVP, and
I think one has once.
I'm not too sure.
I'm pretty sure within the last 15 years or so. Let me look it up.
Yeah, I'm not too sure myself. But regardless, I think it's gonna be very hard for him to win. And Carson Wentz again did not finish the season, and I really think that he had an amazing year. But even when he was healthy, even when Antonio Brown was healthy, and even when Todd Gurley was having the stretch that he had, Tom Brady was by and large the better player, and doesn't make them any less great. But he just has been consistently great, and he deserves this
Yeah,
MVP.
I
Um,
looked it up. I was wrong. There hasn't been.
yeah, it's all right. I think that they should at one point. I mean, I think that if
Yeah.
it's going to be anyone, it's going to be Antonio Brown, who I think is going to end up going down as one of the best wide receivers of all time.
Oh, for sure.
But I right now it's Brady. We'll see. We'll see how much people are going to try to deflect and try to give it to someone else. It would be I would be really angry if as a Patriots fan, or if I was a Patriots fan rather, um, if Tom Brady did not win, because I would be
Yeah.
like, well, although it would be like more fuel to the fire for tomorrow's tournament, or
Yeah.
for tomorrow's game. Um,
Yeah.
anyways, Coach of the Year. What do you think?
Uh, well, in the sense of like record, nobody really did their job better than a few. Those being, uh, uh, Bill Belichick, Mike Tomlin, and Doug Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the coaches that went 13-3, which is the best record in the NFL.
And Mike Zimmer.
And Mike Zimmer. Oh, Vikings won 13-3 too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, added Mike Zimmer to that. Um, so uh, I think any of them could be like a great candidate for this. I know that it leaked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say who it was unless you want to.
I will, but you could go ahead and keep going.
Okay. And I see where that leak is going. It's probably true, and if it is, all the power to him. Again, won't say who it is. I'm not gonna pick him though, just cause.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with the coach who like kind of just dominated a lot of this season and like surpassed a lot of people's expectations before the start of the season. I'm gonna go Doug Peterson.
I'm with you on that, but not that I'm gonna select the same way as you. But
Yeah.
I agree with you, and I think he's been one of the greatest coaching and play callers of this season. And I think one of the things that's gonna make this upcoming game so good is gonna be between a new coaching mind who has really proven that he belongs in Doug Peterson against one of the greatest coaching minds of all time in Bill Belichick. That's going to be a really fascinating matchup in that sense. But I'm going to go with Sean McVay, and he was the one that got leaked. It seems that's according to Google. Google might be getting it wrong, but they are saying that Sean McVay won AP Coach of the Year. Don't know how that got out early, but it did. But if that leak is true, then look, Sean McVay, he turned around a franchise that was so bad last year and made it into one of the most fun teams to watch. I think the big thing to remember here is that the voting happens prior to postseason play.
Yes.
So I think that to that point, that if the voting lasted after the conference championship game, which I think it kind of should, but whatever, that's the voting process, then I think Doug Peterson would have won, especially since Sean McVay went one and done. But the way that Sean McVay completely turned around the Rams franchise into from the worst offense in the NFL to the best offense in the NFL, that's an insane turnaround. And it's a testament to his mind and to that whole coaching staff. Wade Phillips did an amazing job as well as the defensive coordinator. Kudos to him as well. but I think Sean McVay really deserves it. So I think both of those names. I think Mike Zimmer should be considered, and of course Bill Belichick should always be considered. But again, with how dominant,
even the year he finally retires, like the year that his first season not as head coach, he'll be considered.
Right, and I think the thing about both Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, and this is kind of goes back to my point about how it's kind of frustrating when they dominate for so long, and it should be kind of, in a way, it's frustrating to them. I know they probably don't care about these awards, but they never get considered for these rewards because they've been so consistently dominant that people only notice the ones that are newly dominant or newly great. In these awards. And really, if you look at the last 5 seasons, you can make an argument for Tom Brady and Bill Belichick being the MVP and Coach of the Year every single year. But depends on the type of year it is. So there was no clear favor for the MVPs. Tom Brady, I think, easily took it. And then Coach of the Year, though, there was a lot of new head coaches that kind of popped up and are completely turned around franchises. So
yeah,
that's what ends up happening. Offensive player. Usually this goes to the MVP, but we're going to do a little bit different. Who do you think is most deserving of offensive player?
All right, the offensive player who essentially helped carry his team most of the season, and definitely fantasy player of the year, Todd Gurley, the second.
Yeah, forget that he's a second in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I went with Todd Gurley as well. Best, really great running back year. I know that Kareem Hunt ultimately ended up leading the league in rushing, but Gurley overall had a consistently great season. I know I said he struggled in the beginning, but that was mostly just kind of getting into it and not really having he had on and off games essentially, but he was just so good down the stretch. He should absolutely be the winner of the offensive player if they're going to give it to someone other than the MVP.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown's another option in that,
for sure,
and Carson Wentz if you want to give it to him as well. Defensive player of the year.
Give something good to the Cats, Calais Campbell.
Calais Campbell. There you go. I completely forgot about Calais Campbell. I don't know why. I had Cameron Jordan and Aaron Donald in my mind, but Cameron Jordan I think is deserving of it. I think he definitely showed why he's one of the best defensive players in the league this year in the way that he played. Just absolutely nonstop got pressure on the quarterback, and so did Calais Campbell, and it's a really deep class for this award, so I don't really know who's going to win. Aaron Donald was excellent as well this year. I would even make an argument for Everson Griffin of the Vikings, too. I think you can name a few Jaguars, as well to include in that. So it's a deep class, so we'll see what happens. Offensive rookie.
If you asked me week 1, I would have had a very clear answer. If you asked me week 8, I would have had a very clear answer. But then the second half of the season happened, and Alvin Kamara is a beast on another level.
Mm-hmm. And I think that he should be the clear favorite. I don't think Kareem Hunt comes close. I think he had the group.
If Kareem Hunt had his first game every game, there would be no competition. But
he probably would have broken records in the process.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hunt had a bad downswing, and I think that ultimately took him out. People are saying Deshaun Watson should still get the Offensive Rookie of the Year award, and I think he had a great year. But
he played in 4 games.
He played in at least half the season, but he went down with an injury, and then you can't. It's hard to kind of build on that campaign. I'm with Kamara. He had 2 great playoff games too. For the most part, and he's been really good all year round. Even though he shared a backfield with Mark Ingram, he still showed himself out. So I commend him on a great start to this year. I just realized I have three Saints in a row as my defensive rookie is Marshawn Lattimore. Are you with me on that one as well?
Yeah, I have that one.
Yeah, uh, great corner. This is not really too much of an argument. I don't think there's really a lot of defensive rookies
No.
in the conversation there. In fact, it's very hard for me to think of another defensive rookie that had as great of a year as Marshawn Lattimore did, at least. Do you know? Do you have a comeback player of the year?
I do not.
Okay,
Did not do that one.
my guess is going to be Keenan Allen, who went out with an injury and then came back and absolutely balled for the Chargers and was a really, really essential part of their turnaround late in the year, and was could have made the playoffs and been a huge playmaker for the Chargers when it counted, but
Yeah.
did not occur for them. But I think that he deserves recognition for that. I know I heard some people say Jared Goff because he had a really rough year, came back and kicked butt. So that he's certainly could be a contender in that. I can't really think of anyone else though outside Keenan Allen.
No.
Um,
There was fucking I don't know. I think it was after the divisional round when the Patriots absolutely demolished the Titans. Tom Brady was like up for I need to rant about this. Tom Brady was up for like clutch performer of the week. That's not what clutch means.
it's not
The throw to Case Keenum's throw to Stephon Diggs was clutch.
right.
Tom Brady winning like 35-14 or whatever the score was is not clutch. That
It's
is
not.
dominating.
It's not clutch. Do you, I yeah, I don't know what their definition is. I think that they could just say offensive player of the week, and I would be like, yeah, Tom
Well,
Brady
no,
should be
but that
considered
it
that.
has a different meaning.
That has a different meaning, right?
It has a different meaning.
So then, if it's clutch, though, you're specifically saying, oh, well,
Like if they
it's
hadn't had done this one thing,
right.
they wouldn't have won.
Yeah, I don't.
Brady's like if you removed Brady from the game, they wouldn't have won. Like that's a different thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That exactly. Um, I just had a thought of this. What if we put Jimmy Garoppolo as a comeback player of the year?
You know what? Sure.
Well, because think about it, he played for only 4 games last season. He kind of did go down with an injury at one point, but then was just benched for
Yeah.
12
Brady came back.
games because some guy named Tom Brady decided to take his spot.
Yeah.
And then he's can't come back against the Niners that had one of the great quarterback stretches that we've seen.
Yeah. He is undefeated as a starter.
That is something to consider, voters. Something to consider. Outside of that, yeah, I have no one other than Keenan Allen. It's a weird year for that comeback player of the year. I know that you don't necessarily have a Hall of Fame class. I know you do have one particular player that you
I just want Brian Urlacher in the Hall of Fame. Is that too much to ask for?
I don't think it is. I think he's a great player.
I want him to be first ballot too. Like he's gonna get in. I just want him to get in this year really badly.
This year is really intriguing. I think you got a lot of great candidates. I decided to put together my list, and this is not really based off of anything really. I just kind of was like, what are the names that I feel like are going to be talked about the most, and most people are going to want to get in at this point. And so I did put Brian Urlacher on my list. I also put Ray Lewis on my list. I don't know if that putting 2 linebackers on there is going to be necessary. I think that Ray Lewis, whether or not, you know, I think that the perception is that Ray Lewis is a all-time player, and so is Urlacher, but I think not as well known as Ray Lewis. So I think that Lewis is probably going to get more recognition on that front. But I think both could get in there. I think this will be Terrell Owens' year. I think that after a year of hearing Owens complain about it, of course, but also just hearing about everyone else complaining about Owens not being in there, I think he's finally gonna
Mm.
get his chance. But that doesn't mean Randy Moss will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I would be shocked if he's not in this year's Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, Randy Moss should be in it.
So I would say that put him on the list. Threw in some other names. Joe Jacoby of the Washington Redskins. That was I believe, one of the hogs that we were talking about earlier. So he will be in consideration. I think he'll be drafted in there before Tony Boselli. They always have an offensive lineman, so I just thought throw him in there. And
Yeah.
it was I was really debating between Brian Dawkins and John Lynch for safety. John Lynch, I feel like they could put him in there now just to be like, oh hey look, the guy who's turned around the San Francisco 49ers is now in the Hall of Fame for his playing days. I don't, but I put in Brian Dawkins because he's an Eagle, and I felt like this is the weekend up for Philadelphia. Why not put this guy in the Hall of Fame? He had a great career as a safety. And then you had two senior candidates nominated. I think that there's a chance that both could be not put in, both Robert Brazil and Jerry Kramer. I just chose one. I chose Robert Brazil of the Houston
Yeah.
Oilers. And then there's the executive category, Bobby Beathard, which I don't really know what his big thing was. I just saw him on there, and I just put him in this class because I'm just like, we've seen an executive go in past 2 years, so why not? We'll just include him in there. I would like to do more research on him. If he gets in this Hall of Fame class, I'll get to do that. So
Yeah.
that's my class. It's not really based off of anything factual. You can yell at me if you want, and sure, that's okay. Fine. I'm just putting this together to see how correct I am. We'll see.
Cool.
Um, and then once they announce it, I'll be like, this is too predictable. Just
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah, asshole.
Just kidding. All right. It's time to talk Super Bowl. It's time to talk
Yeah.
the big game on Sunday. This is what we all come. This is what we do this for. This is, we await this moment. We await this game. I think I've gotten more and more optimistic about this game as the week's gone on. And in the sense that I think it will be really good. And you never know what craziness is gonna come in this game. What new meme is gonna end up be starting?
Yeah.
Last year it was 28-3.
Yeah.
So, who knows what will happen this time around? Let's talk bold predictions, and we're gonna give an on-field bold prediction, something that's gonna happen in the game. We're gonna do an off-field prediction, something that's gonna happen, whether it be at the game, not necessarily in the game, or somewhere in America, somewhere in the world. And then the halftime. What's gonna happen during halftime? What's a bold prediction for that? Let's start with the on-field prediction.
On field.
Yeah, on-field. What do you think is gonna happen? What's a
All
bold
right.
prediction for on-field?
Bold prediction on the field. Brady turnovers the ball twice in the first half.
Ooh,
Interception, fumble, whatever, but
just a turnover of some kind twice.
Yep. In the first half.
Okay, this could. I think you and I could get these predictions together. I say that the defenses, either one, Patriots and Eagles, will score a total of 24 points in this game. That means 4 defensive touchdowns.
Oh shit, that's a lot.
That is 4 defensive touchdowns. That is my bold prediction for that. What about during halftime, Mr. JT taking the reins? What's gonna happen?
Bruno Mars is going to make a surprise guest appearance, and it's going to be the best part of the halftime show.
Bruno Mars is just part of every single Super Bowl halftime show for the
He
rest of the
should
time.
be. He honestly should be.
You know what? I mean, why
do
not?
like that is not something that should be a shock.
Yeah.
His halftime show has been the best in the past however many years. Like, he is an amazing performer.
Yeah.
Everyone likes him.
I mean, why not?
he
Um,
has good music. Like it's not. Gaga did good last year, but
Go did good.
I love Bruno Mars.
Yeah, yeah. And maybe we'll find out the question: does Bruno Mars is gay during that halftime? No, I'm kidding. I I did something that might be a little bit too predictable for a bold prediction, but I decided to put it in there anyway. This has not been confirmed, so that's why I kind of put it in there as a bold prediction. I say Jimmy Fallon makes an appearance, but he also makes an appearance with The Roots. So it's going to be Jimmy Fallon and The Roots, both part of the halftime show, because they're buddy, the two of them. Nothing's been confirmed on that front. Who's going to be appearing outside Justin Timberlake in the halftime show? But I figured Jimmy Fallon's in the promo, and the Roots just follow Jimmy Fallon everywhere. I don't know why. They're just attached to him. So they'll both be at the halftime in performing as well. So a not so surprising appearance, but interesting nonetheless. Off-field prediction.
All right, this is a bit of a stretch, and it's definitely not going to happen. But the mascots are going to get into a fight.
So that's Pat Patriot, and I forget what the fucking Eagle's name is. Swoop? Okay.
Yeah, the Eagle.
Alright, you're the mascot expert.
I guess I am. I'm gonna. You know what? Just because you said that, I'm gonna learn all of the.
You should.
Mascot.
You should absolutely.
Yeah.
You will know better than I do.
I know. Let's see. The ones I know now: the Seahawks have Blitz, the Seahawk. The Ravens have Edgar, Allan, and Poe.
Right. The three of them.
Staley the Bear for the Bears.
Yeah. Well, the Ravens named them Edgar. I think they're the Ravens because of Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh,
right?
They are.
Yeah, I believe so.
Because he grew up in Baltimore.
Yeah. So just real quick for my off-field prediction, I say the president of the United States will try to distract from the Super Bowl with a ridiculous bombshell. No matter what it is, it could be something really ridiculous that there's no worth covering it. But the media will cover it anyway, or it's something huge. He's gonna try some way to take viewers away from the Super Bowl in some way, shape, or form.
All right.
That's not meant to be a political statement. I'm just that is just the kind of year it's been. Anyways, so that is my off-field prediction. And. Did you have the other mascots in your mind that you knew?
That's all I can think of for now.
Yeah, you just know the birds and Pat Patriot.
I guess so.
Yeah, there you go. So I think that we are ready for our final prediction of the 2017 NFL season. Does this make you sad, Go Cubs?
A little bit, mostly because this season has been really, really cool, really fun.
Yeah. Well, the off season's already started off with a bang.
I guess.
So in that front, I'm like, all right, it's okay. I'm willing to say goodbye to it. But no, I agree with you. I think this season's been my favorite to this point, and it's been a rough year for the NFL though, and I think that's we'll see how they address it all heading into the off season. But I really am going to be fascinated with how things unfold. But I really love this year. I love the chaos of this year, and it would be really interesting to see if chaos can win one more time for us in this game. For the Eagles and Patriots, few notes. We got on the New England side of things, they're looking to preserve their dynasty. This is their 10th Super Bowl appearance, their 8th under Brady and Belichick. They have now been to 7 straight conference championships, of course, but they are now 4 of those times they have won and gotten in to the Super Bowl. Um, they are going trying to get to 6 championships under the Brady Belichick, which I believe will be the most ever. Belichick, I believe, will tie very like older coaches back in before the Super Bowl became a thing. Will try to tie for the most championships by a NFL head coach. To this point, the Patriots have been the Titans in a blowout and the Jaguars in a close one comeback victory in the playoffs, and some new faces to consider compared to last year's Patriots teams. Brandon
Yes.
Cooks, Stephon Gilmore, James Harrison, Rex Burkhead, Mike Gillislee, who I don't think will even be active. I don't know why I wrote him down. Yeah. Kenny Britt, Philip Dorsett, who also
Technically even Rob Gronkowski.
That's true. Rob Gronkowski was not part of last year, and Dwayne Allen. Some of those names might not even be active, but that's just how deep sometimes the names go on that roster. Meanwhile, the Eagles, as we've talked about many times, they are the underdogs, and they are wearing it proud with their very creepy dog masks that will probably be around, that have been already around Minnesota this year, this week rather, and will probably be in the stadium for the Super Bowl as well. This team has overcome a lot of injuries. Of course, Carson Wentz being one, Jason Peters being another, Darren Sproles, Jordan Hicks on the defensive side. Just a lot of adversity on that front, but they still had such a dominant year. Went 13-3. Only had 2 losses on the season, one very early on to the Chiefs, one much later in the season against the Seahawks, and one at Week 17 that didn't really ultimately matter against the Cowboys. Their amazing defense, led by Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Vinny Curry, Timmy Jerrigan, Derek Barnett, Chris Long, Ronald Darby, and Malcolm Jenkins, all those guys, probably plenty more that I didn't even include, just has been a very deep squad, have really kicked ass in the last 2 weeks, and they're going to need to really kick ass this time around. One of the cool stories about the Eagles, too, rookie kicker Jake Elliott, who had that amazing 60-yard field goal for the victory against the Giants and has been a really key factor in victories for them. And of course, the offensive weapons have been deep as well. Jay Ajayi, LeGarrette Blount, Alshon Jeffrey, Torrey Smith, Nelson Aguilar, Zach Ertz, Brett Selleck. And they beat the Falcons and the Vikings in the playoffs. Remember last week when I talked about the comparisons to the 1990 New York Giants. That's lingering as well there. And of course, Nick Foles being the face of this franchise now, or at least for now. He is going to go from retirement, or potentially going to the retirement, to starting in a Super Bowl. And if he wins it, it will be as we talked about last week, it would be the first backup quarterback to win a Super Bowl since Tom Brady in 2001. Would be incredible. Will be really awesome to see. We got so much in this game that's going to be really fucking fascinating. What do you think is going to happen in the final game, Super Bowl 52?
This season has been, like, since I've started, like, watching football really closely, this has been the best season that I've ever experienced. It cannot end with a Patriots victory. There's been so much team chaos stuff happening. The final 3 of the final 4 teams have never won a Super Bowl before, which can't get much more team chaos. The injury gods have not been kind to many teams, including one of the current Super Bowl teams. If Wentz was still here, I am not kidding. This would be a no-brainer. Since he's not, it makes it harder. But I'm going to be rooting for Philadelphia so fucking hard on Sunday. Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl, and uh, and bring bring a championship and some happiness to a really kind of shitty group of people.
Well, that was beautiful up until then. Well,
No, look, it, the impact would be much larger, I think, if the Eagles won. Uh, so I I I really want them to win. I will stake my uh I will plant my flag in their on their planet or whatever the fuck. I
it's
don't
the
know.
hill that you will die on.
Is the I don't know if that I go that far, but it is the
Okay.
hill that I will at least
Take a
that I
nap
will
on.
I will at least stand on and argue very loudly.
Okay, cool.
Um,
Yeah. Um. Yeah. This Eagles squad has really shocked me this postseason, and I realized that the past two times that I've picked against them, I've picked against Team Chaos. Um, if there is, as I talked about last week, if there's any better representative of Team Chaos, it's the Philadelphia Eagles, with the way the season ended for them, and then how the postseason has just knocked out probably two of the best NFC teams remaining. You
yeah,
know, because I mean, I would maybe make a push for the Rams, but the Falcons clearly outplayed them. Um, so I would say the Vikings and Falcons were two really strong favorites behind the Eagles, and that just ended. That just completely crumbled, and that to me, I I this Eagles team, it's really hard to pick against them now because it feels like this is an this is a team destined for greatness with how well they've played the past 2 years. And if you look at the rosters alone, you would say the Eagles would win, and you would say the Eagles could potentially kick their ass against the Patriots. But the one thing that we always have to consider when it's the Patriots is that Bill Belichick and Tom Brady are the greatest adjusters in games, the greatest minds in games. Obviously, with Brady, one of the greatest players in a very difficult situation. No matter what you throw at them, they're going to be able to compete. I think they're going to compete to the very end. And if that means the Eagles end up pulling it out, they'll pull it out. I say the Patriots will get their sixth. I hope I'm wrong.
all right, that's fair.
Um, it's just comes down to situational football, and I think the Eagles have been so great in that aspect all season long. But I think that this is a team that is, for the most part, very new to the Super Bowl on all fronts. Doug Peterson has never coached in the Super Bowl. Nick Foles have never quarterbacked in the Super Bowl. Um, there's very few players in that group that have actually gotten a chance to play on a Super Bowl field, while the Patriots have ingrained in them many championship players.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be the factor in this game. And outside of the Giants, no one has ever beaten the Patriots that in the Super Bowl. Let's see if the Eagles can do it this Sunday. I think we're in for a treat. I think it's going to be fascinating. Who knows? Something interesting might happen in the next few days to really make it, make the storyline even greater and bigger.
uh,
But unless Tom Brady's hand falls off, I doubt that's going to happen. Rob Gronkowski is still in the concussion protocol. I don't know if that should be a cause for concern for the Patriots or not. Usually he would have to be cleared by Friday.
yeah,
In order for him to play, so they have 2 more days. I think that he will get cleared. If he's not, though, That's big. I don't know if I would necessarily change my pick, but that would be huge.
Yeah.
Um, Even though the Jags, Jags still couldn't win with Gronkowski out of the game. Who knows on that front?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. I felt like the Jags defense, for the most part, had been the better defense over the Eagles all season long, and the fact that the Patriots beat the Jags, but it was in their home turf. But then the Eagles also won both of their games at home turf, so it's like it's really tough. This is a neutral field. Both teams are playing a playoff game in a place that they have not, uh, in off their home turf for the first time this postseason. So it's gonna be really interesting when everything's equal footing on that front. So, anything else to add? Say about this matchup? Anything else to say about the Super Bowl? What do you think?
Uh, this is the probably when the postseason started, my least desirable outcome.
Mm-hmm.
But and that's why like I don't. It actually hasn't hit me the fact that the Super Bowl's in 4 days.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be excited watching it. If the Patriots win, thankfully I don't have to deal with one of my friends holding it over everyone's head for the next 12 months because I won't see him because I only see him at school and I won't be at school because I'll have graduated and he failed. Okay, I'm getting too personal.
It's all right.
But uh, uh, I'm looking forward to the game. Fly Eagles fly. Let's hope that it happened.
Yeah. We are remember we have to remember this because I will end up probably forgetting, but we have to remember that if the Eagles pull this off, that we must sing "Fly Eagles Fly."
Oh yeah. I'm still 100% for that.
Yeah, we gotta do it. We'll probably get copyrighted, but that's okay. It's worth it
No,
at this point.
we won't match it close enough.
Also, something that I forgot to bring up in the beginning, mostly because we don't play it, like that's kind of post production stuff. Unless I forget to edit it in, which may be, be what happened. But Go Cubs made our intro song, which will also end up being our outro song as well. And so you'll hear it again in a second here. So thank you so much, Go Cubs. I really like it. It kind of fits the weird, silly vibe of our podcast. That really is not. It's not gonna be football all the time, which we'll kind of sprinkle in other topics here and there. We may do something on Survivor. Who knows? We could try to. But they actually announced the cast for that. By the way, they announced.
Oh, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, a lot of youngins for that cast. Also, Big Brother announced its cast.
We're not. No, don't. Next week.
Next week. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much. I know that we still have one more episode, but I cannot thank Gocubs enough for being part of this season. It's been a great ride.
I can't believe I've been a part of this season.
And we're gonna try to finish strong next week when we recap all the Super Bowl. We'll give some bold predictions for next season. Give our Super Bowl predictions for next season. A lot to look forward to in the NFL offseason, but of course, we still have one more game. It is the Minnesota Super Bowl, where another miracle will have to happen for the Eagles to pull it off. Well, maybe not a miracle. They're pretty good. Anyways, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Be good to one another. Be kind to one another.
Don't root for the Patriots.
No. And we will see you guys next week post Super Bowl. Bye-bye.